In today's video, I'll show you how to create a breakable box in Godot. This box has a durability of 3, so once it has been hit 3 times, it breaks into pieces and the fruit is revealed. Let's see how it's done.
Game Dev Journey.
The first thing you need to do is design a level. As you can see, my level here is made up of the background scene which we've created before, a tile map called level. We've got a checkpoint scene over there. The player has been imported as its own scene. And then we've got a collections or collectibles node with one strawberry available inside it. That strawberry is there for the moment. Once we add a box to the scene, we'll hide the strawberry behind the box. So let's get started with the box scene. So let's create a new scene here. It's going to be a static body. So let's search for static body. Create it over there and let's rename it to box. Now the static body will need a collision shape. So let's go ahead and select collision shape right there. And let's give it a new rectangle shape, and we'll determine that in a minute. Now the box needs to determine when a body enters it, so for that we're going to need an area 2D node. So we'll go ahead and search for area 2D. I already have it in my recent. I'm going to create it over there. Area 2D node needs its own collision shape, so we'll go ahead and add that as well. And then of course we need to represent, let's add a rectangle shape here. And we need to represent what the box looks like with an animated sprite. So I'm going to make the animated sprite a child of area 2D. And I may have used it somewhere. There we go, animated sprite. Add it in there. We'll add some new sprite frames over here. And now we're going to go and get the box. So we're going to have to get this from our assets. In the Pixel Adventure folder, go into the items folder, and you'll find a folder called boxes. Go into that and choose the box 1 folder and drag and drop that into your file system. Before you do that, let's just create a new folder here. Let's call it assets. That way, within this assets folder, we can keep everything organized. So I'm going to drag and drop the box folder there. And here you can see I've got the break, the hit, and the idle. Right, once you've done that, let's rename this to idle. And let's use the idle frame for the box. Let's create a new animation. Let's call it hit. And let's go and import from a sprite sheet. So let's go here. Let's go to assets box. And let's choose the hit animation over here. Open it. Horizontal frames are 3, vertical frames are 1. Select them all. Add the 3 frames, and there you can see we've got them all available to us down there. Let's set the FPS to 15. Disable looping. And now we can work with our collision shapes. So our collision shape here, which is a child of the box, we'll zoom right in. And let's actually work on our idle animation. So let's just go to idle. This collision shape here, we can make sure that it fits the box exactly, which it pretty much does at the moment. We can drag it in a little bit. And then the area 2D one should extend slightly outside of the box, just to make sure that the player is going to collide with it. That's good enough. Okay, let's save this box scene. So Control S, and we'll go to our scenes, and we'll save it as box. Save. So now we can actually go ahead to our box level, and we can place a box in the scene. So we could place it there, for instance, we could take our strawberry, put it over the box, and we can just make the strawberry invisible. When the box breaks, we can make that strawberry visible. But now we want the box to break into different pieces. So we're going to have to create a new scene for the pieces of the box. So I'm going to save this box level, and I'm going to go and click on New Scene. I'm going to choose a rigid body, and I'm going to rename this to box piece, as this represents a single piece of a box. Now we need an animated sprite with some sprite frames, and we also need a collision shape for this, and we'll make it a rectangle. And we can have a timer as well, because the pieces will disappear after a short time. And we're also going to make the pieces flash as they disappear. So we'll also add an animation player to create that little animation. Right, let's go back to our animated sprite. Let's rename the default animation to break. And let's go and import our pieces from this little window again. There they are, break. We'll open it. There are 4 of them, so the vertical frames are 1. We'll select them, add them. These are our 4 possible pieces of a box. Now we can just use the collision shape to fit the pieces correctly. This is not vital, but it's better to be precise. In the timer, let's set the one shot to true and auto start to true. Now we're going to go to the animation player node, and we're going to make a new animation, and let's call it flash. So the flash animation. Now let's select the box piece node over here, and we're going to go and find visibility, which is here, and we're going to click on the keyframe, and it's going to say, do you want to make the track and include the reset track? And we do. So I'm going to click create, and here you've got visible now at 0 seconds. We have 1 keyframe on the flash track. So let's move the timeline. Let's set this timeline to about ½ a second. So 0.5 here in the duration. Let's zoom out a bit so we get 0.5 nicely over there. And let's actually zoom out a little bit more. I think that's perfect. Okay, so let's now move the timeline, and we'll go to disable the property and then click the key and repeat this process, and then we'll speed up the flashing effect towards the end. So let's go to 0.1 over here. Let's just change that 0.1, and we'll turn visibility off at 0.1 and key it. Let's go to 0.2, and we'll turn visibility on and key it. Let's go to 0.25, and we'll turn it off and key it. Let's go to 0.3 and turn it on and key it. Let's go to 0.35, turn it off and key it. Let's go to 0.4, turn it on and key it. And 0.45, maybe we'll get another step in between here. Let's go to 0.45 and key it off. Sorry, let's just undo that. I meant to be on let's get faster towards the end there. Sorry, so let's key this off there. Let's get 0.4, key it on, 4.6 off, 4.8 on, and finally 4.5 we'll have it off. Okay, let's preview this little animation. So let's rewind it and play it. Yeah, so there you can see it starts to flash faster as it disappears at the end. That looks great to me. Okay, so let's disable autoplay. It is disabled. Okay, and the duration is 0.5 seconds. That's great. Okay, let's save this box piece scene. Box piece, this represents a piece of the box. And now let's add a script to the box piece. So we'll add a new script. We'll put it in scripts and create it. So this is our script. Now we need to be able to access the animated sprite because we're going to choose one of the frames to represent a piece of the box, and we need to access the animation player to actually play our flash animation. So for that we need some reference variables which will be onReady variables, so we can just hold Control, drag and release for that one, and hold Control, drag and release for that one. So now we have a way to access the animated sprite and the animation player. Now each time a box piece is instantiated in a scene, we need to choose a random frame from the animated sprite. This will give us some variety in the shape of the pieces. So it could be one of 4 different types. Because if we go and look here, we've got 4 different shape pieces, and we just pick one of these frames at random, and we'll get a bit of variety in the type of piece that we get. So let's do that in the ready function. So let's go function underscore ready, and we'll go to our animated sprite 2D, and we'll grab a random frame between 0 and 4. And the way we can do that is say the frame is going to be equal randi, and we'll go modulo 3. That'll pick a random number between 0 and 3. So here we are, 0, 1, 2, 3. It'll pick one of those numbers, and that's going to be the frame that gets set. Now let's get to our timer. So there's our timer node. Let's go to the signal, and we want the timeout signal. Let's connect that. So what's going to happen when we time out? Well, we want to play our flash animation when the timer times out. So we now need to go into our animation player and tell it to play the flash animation. So we're going to say play flash. Perfect. Now we want to delete the piece when it's finished flashing. So although it will be invisible because the last keyframe was visibility off, the piece will still be in the level, and we don't want to build up pieces that are invisible in the level. We should just get rid of them. So let's go to the animation player, and let's go to animation finished and connect that. So we'll say on animation player, animation finished, and we need the animation name. And so we'll say that if the anim name is equal to flash, because that's what we named our animation, we can see it over here, then we can queue free. And we'll delete the piece. So that should all work nicely. Let's now return to this box scene over here, and let's add a script to the box. So let's add a script to the box, we'll add it to our scripts folder, Okay, we need access to the box's animated sprite, and we actually need to be able to instantiate the box pieces. When this box is deleted from the scene, we need to actually spawn pieces of the box. So we need to actually preload the box piece scene. So let's start by getting a reference to the animated sprite. We can just hold Control and drag and release. And now for the box piece, we can create another onReady variable called broken piece scene. This will be preloading the scene, and we'll say equals preload. And what we can now do is we can actually just go to our scenes and drag box piece in here, and that's where it is. So we've got a reference now to the box piece. So now we want to have a durability for the box. So let's add a variable called durability, and you can make it whatever you like. I'm going to make it 3. If you want to do explicit types, we can say type equals 3. This is how many hits the box will be able to take before it breaks into pieces. So now let's go get this area 2D node and connect the body entered signal. So we want our body entered. So body entered. There we are. Okay, so let's see, what are we going to do? When a body enters the scene, we want to check if the body is the player. And if it is the player, then we want to play the hit animation of the box and reduce the durability. So to check if it's the player, we'll say if body.isInGroup, and our group is called player. Let's just double check that. If we go to our box level, go to the player, this player is not in a group, so we would have to add it to a group. There's the group player. Okay, so now the player is in the group player. Okay, so let's return to the box. So if the body is in the group player, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to go to this animated sprite, and we're going to play the hit animation, and we're going to reduce the durability by 1. So minus equals 1. So now when the animation is finished, we should reset to the idle animation. So let's do that. So if we go to the animated sprite, we go to the signals, we go to animation finished, and we connect it. If the animation which finished, so we can say if the animated sprite 2d.animation was hit, if that's the one that's just finished, then we reset to the idle animation. So we can say animated sprite 2d.animation, and we can set it to idle. Okay, so it returns to idle from being on hit, because this hit is just a little stretch, squash and squeeze, just to give a little bit of visual feedback to the player. Right, so let's create a custom function now to spawn pieces of box. So let's go and say function spawn broken pieces. This function won't return anything, so we can just say it's void. So now we can actually make the strawberry visible as well, because in our box level we do actually have a strawberry over here, but it's not in a group, so we should actually add it to a group as well. So if we go to groups, it's a collectible, so let's add it to the collectibles group, and now it's in. So if we come back to the box, what we can do is we can get a reference to the strawberry. We can say var strawberry equals, and we can go get tree, dot get first, sorry, I didn't say tree, so it's get tree dot get first node in group, and the group is collectibles, and the first node in the group collectibles will be the strawberry. So we'll now have access to the strawberry. Now we can make the strawberry visible. So we can say strawberry dot visible equals true. We just got to go back to the box level and make sure that the strawberry is invisible, which it is at the moment. Okay, return to the box. Okay, so that will make the strawberry visible when we break the box. And now what we can do is spawn box pieces. So we want at least 4 pieces. Okay, but you can do as many as you like, but I'm going to go with 4. So we can have a loop that runs 4 times. So we can say for I in range 4, or whatever number, however many pieces you want to create. We're going to make a piece by saying the piece is equal to broken pieces scene dot instantiate. We'll create a piece, and then we can move the piece over slightly, because otherwise they're all going to spawn on top of each other. So we want to spawn each piece at a slight offset. So let's say var offset is equal to vector2, and let's just make this vector2. We'll make a slightly random, we'll just pick a random number, 20 pixels left or right, 20 pixels up and down, just so that they're not spawning on top of each other. So we can use randf for that. So we can say randf, and we can say between minus 20 on the x, 20, and minus 20 and 20 on the x, and minus 20 and 20 on the y. That should give us a nice little offset. And then we need to put the piece where the box is in the level. And the way we know where the box is by using global position. Because the boxes, the global position, we want the global position of the box, and we want the piece to be wherever the global position of the box is, plus the little offset. So the piece's global position will be equal to the global position, right, which is where the box is, plus our little offset, so that we can actually see the different pieces and they don't just all spawn on top of each other in the exact same place. And then we should actually add these pieces to the scene. So we can say get tree dot current scene dot add child, and we want to add the piece, and that should do it. Did I not say in range? For I in range, that's why it's giving us an error. Yeah, so for I in range 4, here's our offset. Let's just check that we've done this correctly. Our var offset will be a new vector2. We want randf. We want randf range, because we're picking between a range of numbers. So we'll pick between those numbers, so we just get an offset so they don't all spawn on top of each other, and then we add the piece to the scene. That should work. So this should set it to appear when the box breaks. We should get 4 different pieces. Okay, so now we need to actually update the physics process function. So let's go ahead and add that. Let's go add here. Let's say a function. This will be underscore physics process. And the reason I'm using physics process is because these box pieces are static bodies. So we actually want to have a steady 60 FPS on anything that is a physics body. So we're going to say if the durability is less than or equal to 0, so if the box should now be breaking, then we spawn those broken pieces, and then we delete the box. So we free the box. Okay, so technically this should work. We can go ahead and test it now. So let's return to the box level. Okay, let's have a look. We've got a box there with a strawberry hidden inside it. Let's run this and see if it works. Okay, so we've immediately got a problem. We can't get the strawberry count, and this is in our area 2D. This is in the strawberry, in the actual strawberry class. We're trying to print the strawberry count. Let's just comment that out for a second and try and rerun. Okay, now we're running. Okay, so we hit the box once, twice, 3 times. Okay, now we can't access the visible property of the strawberry. So the problem with our strawberry throwing an error is in the spawn broken pieces function that's in the box piece scene. The box scene. So when we spawn the broken pieces, we want to make that strawberry that we've already put in the level, in the box level here. It's invisible. If I make it visible there, you can see I've put it over the box right there. So we want to get access to the strawberry to set its visible property to true. So in the box, when we spawn the broken pieces, to get access to the strawberry, we want to find out if we want to get the collectibles, access to that collectibles node, because you'll notice in the box level, the strawberry is in a node called collectibles. And then, so that collectibles is part of the group called collectibles. And then its first and only child, so child 0, is the strawberry itself. So what we do is we get access to the collectibles node by saying get tree.getFirst node in group collectibles, which it is in the group collectibles. And then we need to get its first child, which is the strawberry. So we create a variable for the strawberry called, which is collectibles.getChild0, the only child. And then we can set the strawberry to true. That way, when you now run it, you are able to hit the box 3 times, break it, get all the pieces, they flash and disappear, grab the strawberry, and that way the flag appears and we can finish the level. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time.